On today's show, BitBoy says he's right. Let's get it.
What's good, bro? I just heard Bitcoin hit 100K a coin. Yeah, that's right. Crypto is popping again.
It's crypto season. This is our time.
Well, help me out, bro. I want to get in.
Check it. If you looking for what's cooking right, here's where the chef will be. Live stream with BitBoy X for the recipe. With bull market energy, the winners be showing up and fighting for your life, and watch the prices been blowing up. Watch them cook.
Oh, man, I was dancing to my own song.
You were cooking.
I was cooking, and man, today it is cooking. Man, we got such a big episode for you guys today. We are going to be talking about so much, but listen, it's very important I say this. Today, is Friday, January 31st, 2025. GM. I am your humble host, the BitBoy. Welcome to the BitBoy X Morning Show. This is the home of the Bit Squad, of course, as you guys know. The highest IQ investors in all of the interwebs. And we have just shown over and over and over again how high IQ our investors are, our audience is, the Bit Squad, as we just continue to dominate this space. The people that watch this channel, you dominate. We've been crushing it and winning it. And we're not only winning in numbers, we're winning in picks by such wide margins that nobody can keep up with us. And we're going to be talking about a project today, Proppy, that you might want to check out. It's going to be in the RWA space. We continue our RWA themed shows for this 2-week period. We may have to go, well, I'll probably do an extra Saturday show maybe to wrap it up to make sure it ends in 2 weeks. But the thing is that, do you see what's happening? What you see is that we have predicted every step along the way what is happening in the overarching narrative of this space in institutional investing. And there's a reason for that. And his name is Mr. X, of course. And he fills us in on what's going on. We have Jake with $100 super chat, man. He's got that. Oh, God, Jake got that paper. Got that paper. He must be investing in that XRP and that Ondo. He must be getting it. Must be that sweet. Anyways, we'll look at that here in just a second. Remind me, let's look at that when we get to charts.
Okay.
So we'll come back to that, Jake. The point is, we got a big show. We're going to be looking at Proppy, our RWA. We're going to be looking at tokenized real estate and commodities, of course. And then we're also going to be checking out Zuck, the Zuck transformation. What is that? We're going to tease it a little bit. And then we've got a big series of videos on AI that Zuckerberg's going to be involved in one of those videos here coming up. I don't know, this weekend, maybe early next week. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So you guys definitely want to subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit that like button. Show's got a swag back. Let's go. Okay, so the thing is I am going to try to stick to the cards today. I have a new bot, and it helps me with my ADHD. Guys, have I not said the elephant in the room? Where's my XRP army, folks? Are you guys just sitting around just waiting for me to say it? That's right, guys. Now, the market has not reacted to this news in the way that you would hope that it would when it means what this means. But you have to remember that you guys are the only ones who understand what this means, because we've been mapping out this for you strategically, methodically, purposefully over the last year and a half. And here we are. We told you the companies that matter when they file things. We told you Canary Capital is not one of them. They do it for marketing. Told you Bitwise, not one of them. We tell you Van Eck, also not one of them. That's why that one got denied over and over and over and over and over again as the leading one. The ones that matter are BlackRock, Vanguard, and now Grayscale. Grayscale had some of its power ripped from it. But we've been telling you for the last 3 months that Grayscale and Digital Currency Group are now maybe under some different leadership. Not necessarily official leadership, maybe unofficial leadership. But there are things changing. And there's a reason that that's been planted alongside the narratives of this show for the last year. And it leads us to today. It leads us to this moment, XRP Army. It leads us to today, where you now understand what this means today, while the rest of the crypto world out there that's just sucking off the latest guy who's saying, oh, I promise, I said I hate XRP, but now I like it. And now I'm going to say we're bullish. Shut up. No, XRP Army knows we were here and we led you like a good leader does throughout the hard times with promises of a brighter day. And here we are. Grayscale has now filed an XRP ETF. That is now 100%. It is getting approved. It doesn't mean it's getting approved the first vote. They may do an extension. Who knows? But what I will tell you is this now means there will be, during this bull run, an XRP ETF. Bank it. Bank it. There's no way it's not going. Is that right? There's no way it's not going to happen. Yes, that means it's going to happen. It's double negative perfect. So that is true, as you know. This is the bit commander of the XRP Army. I will tell you.
So now the next elephant in the room, then, are we ready to say double?
Does my hair look weird?
It's a little puffy. It's all right, though.
Why is my hair so puffy? I put some gel in it. Guy, it looks even worse.
My hair looks all done up with gel and mousse.
Oh, yeah, it's going to pump you up. The morning pump is coming up next. You guys pay attention. Good.
So what do we think about now looking at a double-digit XRP this run? $10 plus.
Oh, yeah. I
Done.
think
it.
Look, I'm not going to push people's dreams and their hopes way up. But what I am going to say is I think $10 is now the likely target, I would say. Yeah. I mean, that's the next thing I'm looking. I mean, 450 is first, right? We're going to get there. And then it's only a 2X to about $10, or that would be $9, obviously. But I think, man, we are set up. ETFs are no longer market movers. You can't say that because the ETFs do move markets and they allow other kinds of institutional vehicles to come in behind them and underneath them. But when you have an XRP ETF, guys, we've already told you the XRPL is now the Uniswap of the degenerate institutions. It's all makes sense. It's all coming, guys. Just watch for it. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Realistic all-time high market cap for HBAR's run. What's it at right now? Take a side swipe in HBAR here. And now we're going to, after this, we're going to follow the show exactly.
12 billion.
12 billion?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think that I could. I mean, look, HBAR could get to $100 billion market cap. It could. It could. What's that now? 12?
12.
It would be crazy. But remember, guys, we've been looking, and we could look at the HBAR chart. We don't have time. But if we did, we might see the same pattern that we've been seeing, which is we're getting to a place that these altcoins are either going to just break out massively and break out of historical downtrends, or they're going to die. And which one do you think is going to be? You want to be on the haves rather than the have-nots when it comes to your portfolios of projects that are viable and will be around. That's why that's what we talk to you about all the time here on the show. That's right. Show's got his swag back. And also, man, we can pick them. Grayscale files XRP ETF. SBF seeks presidential pardon from Trump. Man, I spilled my coffee again. The zenledger.io coffee cup. It's so secure that I feel too comfortable, and I just slap it all the time. Yeah. Is Ashley here? Ashley? Hey, can you bring me just a towel, please? No, like a rag. Like I got a little bit on my mouth. Yeah. I've got to stop spilling my coffee. I'm sorry, guys. I will not do it again. I'm going to be more conscious. And
I think it might be time to move to a coffee cup with a lid.
Well, we just got the new zenledger.io coffee cup. It's beautiful.
We'll turn it into a prop.
I could wear the hat every day on the show and cover up my beautiful hair and protect me from the ladies, as Cassie knows. Sorry, ladies. I can't help it. I have better hair than your husband. Okay. All right. So Grayscale files for the XRP ETF is going to be our top story today. We're going to look at our deep dive. It's going to be topical. We're going to take a look at Zuckerberg and what Meta is doing with AI. Okay. I will go back and forth. Proppy, we're going to be looking at with our altcoin spotlight, and then we're going to be looking at use cases of real estate and commodities and RWAs. And you guys know we're going to be talking a lot of XRP when we get there. Frank Nardiello. What's up, Frank? Frankie Nards. We call him Frankie Nards around here. He's at least cooler than one Frankie I know. Top 5 coins is bull cycle, not including Bitcoin or ETH. I only hold Ondo and have 50,000 shares. Oh, it's a shares guy.
Oh.
You know who still has shares?
Stonks, guys.
Pop, my pop. He still says shares. Still says that. He's been in crypto for like 8 years. Like, come on, Pop. He still says shares. Like, come on, man. Pop's smart too. Go get some. Whoa, man. I've never had that kind of dish. I tell you.
Come on.
I never had that kind of dish. I've never dished one of those. Well, I've dished some out, I guess. But the thing is, with Frankie Nards here talking about top 5 coins is bull cycle. And I think you really have to understand that from a composite score. You have to understand there's factors in here that get weighed in, such as, are you staying on your cards? And the answer is no. I'm trying to talk to Frank. And so I'll just say it like this. I think that SWI and XRP and Ondo are 3 of the top 5. You said you only have Ondo. So, you want a coin other than that. So we won't include that one. And I would say, look, Pyth, I definitely think Pyth is there. That's the number 1 coin, I think. I don't think it's the number 1 coin in crypto. I think when you weigh out who it's linked to, what it's doing, how undervalued it is, their use case and extensive use in the industry, in DeFi specifically, and compare it to where it is in market cap, it's the most solid project that's going to be around for sure, no matter what, that's in the top 100, that's outside of like the top 50, maybe even the top 30, honestly. I don't know, maybe somewhere thereabouts. It's got a lot of boom. It's got a lot of potential, but it's also a really safe pick as well. It's not going anywhere. Same people that do Ondo, Duros Labs. Okay. So I would say Pyth is definitely on there. And then from there, you got a lot of different options. I like the Graph. I like Render. I like Near Protocol. I like Akash. There's a lot of projects I really, really, really like. So we will have to stop with the super chats right now. We'll come back to super chats here in a little bit. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps me bring you content like this every day. It's different than the way I brought it yesterday, which was in a hoodie and with hair that did not look poofy. And man, my hair's worse than George Koenig's, man. I tell you.
I think it looks all right. It looks better.
Yeah, it looks slicked back, man. But I'm not even in the mafia like that guy. Okay. All right. So Grayscale files for the XRP. Is XRP about to go mainstream? And that's the thing, guys. You gotta understand. XRP is about to go mainstream. It's already mainstream with the institutions. They're already there. It's about to go mainstream with the people and the TradFi people. Is they are slowly realizing that they are now in what we call TradeFi. That's where we're at. TradeFi. That's what we call it. Okay. Guys, our quote of the day is from a person who I think is a very interesting person in history. His name is Mark Twain, and he was high IQ. Today's high IQ quote of the day. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. And that's right, guys. How does that equate? I don't know. Could it be we've been telling you to invest in XRP? We've been saying not financial advice because we don't technically have to say it. And it's just a thing we say all the time. Not financial advice. I'm not responsible. I'm not responsible if you make all the money you make. But I kind of am. Now, when you lose all the money, I'm also not responsible. That's your decision not to pull your profits. You pull them right now. So there you go. That is my disclaimer for the rest of the bull run. XRP Army, thank you. The fact is, if you got started getting into XRP or Ondo or any of these projects that we've been talking about, over the long term, we win. Even with Cardano, with as much as we supported ADA when we felt like it was one of the top projects, people still haven't made a ton of money on that thing. And now we're kind of saying we're shifting our viewpoint on it. But even that. So, guys, it is time to transition to everybody's favorite ump of the day, the crypto morning pump, also known as the morning crypto pump, also known as the green card stack. We're going to go to CoinGecko and we're going to check the overall numbers. As you can see here, we're already on CoinGecko and I've already hit refresh once, but you always got to hit it twice.
We learned that yesterday. Very valuable lesson. Sometimes just hit the refresh.
Hit the refresh right after the rip. Well, I assume it's wrong. Like, I assume it hasn't been refreshed, which is good. That means every day I come in and refresh it. It's perfect. So, okay. Crypto prices by market cap. We're going to look at that in a second. 3.75 trillion down 1.1%, $125 billion. in volume. Look at that. That's not very good. Bitcoin dominance, 55.5%. Notice it's down a good bit. And what does that mean? Usually if it's down, then maybe we see Ethereum go up as we have, as it went up about 0.5%. And I'm not sure why that is. I'm thinking about all the stories on the rundown today, and I don't think there's anything that seems to indicate that Ethereum should be moving. So I don't know, but maybe it's at its darkest day. You know, just when we've been telling you, there's like nothing to seem to indicate other than we've been around and we think this is going to happen because we've seen it before. That's really what is making most of us think Ethereum is going to move, along with, of course, the DeFi and institutional moves by Donald Trump and some of the other people positioning around Ethereum from an institutional perspective. Outside of that, like retail wise, what's it really doing? I mean, people aren't really buying, they're not buying it, NFTs on OpenSea, or they're not, buying crypto kitties. Or what are some of the early things we used to do on Ethereum? Faucets, gambling sites, obviously. We used to do, just crazy, insane, random gambling sites with crypto. So how Eric Voorhees got in the space. Well, right now, guys, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. It's at 105,000. Ethereum up 4%. We're going to try to figure out why that is here in a moment. Lido coming in up 13.7%, a project we don't really care about. We don't believe in. We don't think it's worth investing in. You should probably know what it is. It's basically a project that allows people to collateralize their Ethereum, do stuff with it, with wrapped assets, and then come back and get their Ethereum and be able to basically do kind of what institutions do by just hedging and moving and collateralizing and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, you still got to put what you took out back to get out what you put in, if that makes sense. So it's not like, whatever, but what do they call these kinds of projects? Why am I losing track of what these are called? Lido DAO, Rocket Fuel, or Rocket Pool, I think. What are these called?
Scams?
No, they're
DAOs or
no. Let me see. Let me check this, because we're gonna have an interactive glossary soon. And can we put a poll up?
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Who do you want to do the interactive glossary for the BitBoy Bootcamp? This will be where if you hover over a word that we think is a word people might not know at any level, it will pop up with a video with or a box with a pronunciation and a definition, an example, and then someone reading the word and the definition and the example back to you. And that could either be me or Jay Chains or Cassie. I want to know, the Duchess of DeFi. Who do you want in there to do the interactive glossary? That's what we want to know. So there we go. Okay. All right. So, and I'm recording a lot of content, so man, it sure would be nice if you guys pick somebody else. I love you. Okay.
Cassie's going to win.
I hope so. I think so. I would like for her to win. Not that I wouldn't like for you to do it, but I just volunteered you to do it without telling you. So I hope Cassie wins. So
You know that I don't care.
yeah, it's cool. Okay. So anyways, that's what we were going to look at. What are they called? Did somebody put it in the collateralized lending? No, liquid staking. Liquid staking. Thank you, guys. Who we got there? Young Gun, the DETH, and we've got Hawkeye Procurement, and then we've got First Virginia Rifleman. You guys all said it. Maybe somebody else did it even earlier than that, but thank you guys. That is right. We are talking about liquid staking, LPOS, liquid proof of staking. I think maybe some of those projects might. Maybe not. Maybe that's actually a random project that uses that very specific LPOS. But anyways, these projects are worth knowing about, but I don't think they're going to really move. It's good to know what you can do with them. It's kind of what we were talking about yesterday. It's important to know what you can do with some of these coins. We're at a place where the ecosystem is big enough and vibrant enough and using enough users to where you can actually use these cryptos for what they're used for, made for. And so a lot of us have been in the space for a long time. That's really kind of a big change that's happened. And it's important you know how to use projects, not just, you may not want to invest in it, but you may hold some of it for the use case. So you got Floki, Pepe coming in next. You got Sonic, which was Phantom. Phantom is now, I guess, rebranded into Sonic. And it's got a nice little logo, black and white. I like it. I think it actually looks cool. I just think that's probably the latest in another Sonic or another Phantom marketing scheme to get the next round of pump for it. That's just kind of what I see. It's a decent blockchain and it's got some good bells and whistles. It's just doesn't have like a lot of real users. And so until it really gets that, it doesn't really matter what it gets. I think it's going to struggle. So there we go. We got Phantom, Aave, Dexy project I'm looking into, actually, Gala, Injective, and then Dot. Nothing really hugely pumping today, as my guy DJT would say, hugely pumping. But 13.7%, and for Lido and Floki coming at 12.6%. Okay, let's move on to our altcoin spotlight project, which is Proppy. That's right, guys. A little later in the show, during Drill Bits, we're going to be looking at commodities and real estate in RWAs and their role. One of the projects that's mentioned is the kind of project that those of us who've been here forever just have known as the real estate token. I want to preface that. I want to really, maybe not preface the right word, but break that down and say it's always been kind of seen as the top real estate token. I've always kind of seen it as the top real estate token right now, and been waiting for something to be bigger and better and get a little more hoopla, have more hoopla about it. Maybe that's what I was going to say.
Sounds good.
I really botched that one up. But the point is I've been waiting for another project, and I want to be really honest here. We're going to look at Proppy. It has remained pretty much the number one project. And it doesn't matter what you look at with market cap. There may be a project in this niche that might have a larger market cap. I don't know. Like Centrifuge is associated with real estate as well. So, it's got a higher market cap, I believe. But you just have to understand, this is where the culture and the environment of crypto comes in. Like, it's different than you can just read about kind of thing. Just trust me. Those who have been in here from at least before 2018, we all know that Proppy is the token. It's been around. But it hasn't, in my opinion, been able to garner the use and kind of notoriety from the mainstream or the real estate niche, like not crypto, but just real estate. Like, realtors don't know what this is. Ask them about Proppy, they won't know. It just tells me that I believe in this niche. There's a big opportunity probably for something like JP Morgan or another large, I think is Blackstone there. Maybe Blackstone is their real estate company. Some other banks that are also in the real estate game to come in and maybe create a token, maybe even a privatized token. Maybe it's not even open to investors in the public. I just think that there's a reason that we haven't seen a project really push Proppy as the tops of this area. And it could be because people already know maybe there's someone waiting to come in that could be the big behemoth in the space, because that would make a lot of sense to me. I don't have anything to back that up. Mr. X hasn't told me that. That's just some kind of things that I would say. So let's dig in and look at Proppy itself. Okay, so we got a graphic here for you guys, and we'll walk you through this graphic. And on the top left here, you can see, well, I'm waiting for it to pull up on my side, and there it is.
Mine's not pulling up.
It's not pulling there. Look at that. It's amazing. That was just my browser, of course. So look, we can't say that they haven't been pretty successful. They have. They've done 285,000 property NFTs. And I don't know if that was by 2024 or in 2024 total, but regardless, that's a lot. That's a lot of use case in a world where crypto is now, just now getting some usage and some notoriety from the general mainstream and TradFi as we've transitioned to TradeFi. That's a lot. That's a lot of houses. That's 300,000 houses almost as NFTs. Another time this week, we look and we laugh and we say, remember when we all thought that we were all going to be buying monkey pictures forever? No, that's not what NFTs were ever about. And here we are. So they've got strategic partnerships that enhance their real estate transactions. It is the first, and that's why, it's been around. It's the first on-chain real estate platform. It's regulatory compliant, making adoption easier. They has a crypto escrow for secure transactions. They enable transparent, efficient property sales through blockchain technology, smart contracts, and tokenized ownership. Lately, this is what's been going on. They had their Proppy Keys NFT launch announcement. They listed a $42 million Miami mansion. I wonder if I know which one that is. I wonder. They also announced, and remember, why do these projects talk about these companies or highlight these kinds of things? Because it gives them credibility. They now have crypto escrow with Coinbase Prime, which is the Coinbase custody solution, which is their highest grade of what they offer pretty much. I believe. I think that's correct. Maybe it's, I can't ever keep up with their branding, but I think that's what it is. Anyway. Anyways, they used to have, what it used to be called? Coinbase Pro, they used to have.
Mhm.
But I think Coinbase Prime is their upper echelon thing now. So, okay. So what is property? And we kind of summed it up here. It is a revolutionizing real estate project because it brings property transactions on chain. It offers real estate transactions by tokenizing property ownership as NFTs, reducing fraud, and making property deals faster and more accessible. So look, you may say, oh, well, is this really possible? Like, who cares? Why are you doing it? Why do you need that? Well, have you ever heard one of those commercials on the radio that's like property lock or title lock? We are going to put a lock on your title because there are fraudsters out there that are taking these and they're able to actually buy and sell your house while you're living in it. And you don't even realize it happened. That's a thing. You heard that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's a commercial on the radio they have, or they used to have. It's not even a new thing. It's been around for a while. That you have a title lock where you can put your title of your house on a lock so that changes can't be made, basically.
Huh.
Right. So this is a thing when people say fraud, there's fraud in people buying houses all the time. There's fraud and there's rental fraud like widespread, where someone put something up on Craigslist and act like they're the owner because they know the house is vacant and they will rent it out to somebody and take in the deposit and stuff and then disappear. And the people can't ever move in. Like, man, there's so many scams out there on Craigslist. So anyways, guys, why is property interesting? Well, first, let's really quickly go to the CoinGecko here. The CoinGecko. It's coming in at $1.04. We're going to check out the numbers on it here. $1.04. It's been around. So we're going to click the max here to look at the project. Let's see, when did it launch? 2017, I think. Yep, 2017. There it is right there. I guess it's November, October. Halloweenish is when it probably launched. You can see, very similar here. We are seeing still, regardless of where it's been right now. Oops, man, I did not mean to do that. It is still in a long-term downtrend. It's never made a higher high. And it's the kind of thing where, this is not necessarily a natural looking easy line draw here. This might look like a double top over here. So it's sitting at $1 right now. More evidence of what I'm saying is property going to take over? Is it going to be? And at this point, I have to admit, over the last year, I've been questioning, is it the real estate token? Like, I never thought it was from the very beginning. I thought it was too early because look, these successful projects, Ondo, like when did it launch last year? Or like February? Come on. They waited until things were organized and, regulation was straight so it could come in easily. You look at property, they were innovator in beginning. They usually don't win. That's what, it usually is how it happens without big money and big name recognition. And they've been surviving basically on real estate's going to be on blockchain. We believe it for almost 10 years now. So
all it takes is for a Remax or a Century 21 or one of those companies to flip the switch. And it's game over for any one of these companies.
I wouldn't say it's game over because they don't understand blockchain. So it would be a transition. There's opportunity in that, but that
could be, that could be part of the whole acquisition model moving forward. It's like, all right, one of those big firms just acquires property and that's their crypto arm.
And I think that's what we'll see. That's actually what I think we'll see with property. Integration with DeFi, regulatory readiness, first mover advantage. We talked about that on-chain real estate. That's why it's interesting. Of course, we talked about their Property Keys launch. That's actually where users can mint their home addresses as NFTs, which is quite interesting. And you can earn Property rewards or Pro rewards. It's a great ticker, Pro. Just don't think the name matches the ticker. Property Pro. I don't know, man. I'm not trying to be too hard on them. I think they might be the best potentially. They have crypto escrow, Coinbase Prime. That is their custody solution where people can hold escrows for real estate transactions. And then, of course, they have the luxury listings. Why is this important? Why is property important? Well, it's important because it is innovating in the real estate industry and in RWAs. It's innovating. It's been around, and it's proven that it adapts with the times. So I think it's really important to continue to watch it. And you guys are going to learn more about real estate and RWAs here in a little bit on the show. But property is a must watch in the RWA sector, and that's for sure. It's a must watch. It may be the coin, it may not. Everyone sees the opportunity in tokenized real estate. That's something I've talked about on my channel since 2018 is tokenized real estate. It's an obvious, easy way to explain a lot of things and make examples of things because it makes so much sense. So, they're not making any more land, but you know what? They can keep dividing it. The more we learn how small everything is, we'll get in the quantum realm at some point. So property is not just a concept when it comes to tokenized real estate, it's already been changing the way that some people have made real estate purchases, and they've done it on chain. And if you're into RWAs, like I said, you got to watch this one. Absolutely. So is it one I would invest in? That's always the question we ask as we move into our Zen Ledger signals and setups. Zen, no spill coffee, easy done taxes.
It's a long 15 seconds.
Thank you to ZenLedger.io. A lot of inquiries about sponsors on the channel these days. It's finally after so long, people realized I wasn't actually crazy. I was actually being honest about everything that was happening. Oh, man. Okay. All right, guys. I don't know what to do now. I'm just too zen. I guess I'll do signals and setups, which is where we go look at the charts. And we're going to start by looking at the Proppy chart. So let's give it a Proppy look. Thanks, guys. Look at this chart. It looks absolutely amazing. This is the daily chart, as you can see. What? What is it?
Filled with opportunities.
Filled with opportunities, this chart. Actually, there are opportunities on this chart, and I got to look up what they are. The best opportunity that you have right now, though, is to go to ZenLedger.io and use the code BitBoy10 to be able to save 10% on getting your taxes done the right way, compliant. You don't have to be like my former business partner, and you're going to end up in prison because of what you did with taxes and money. You don't have to be that extreme. Do your crypto taxes. You don't ever have to worry about it. I always said this. It's so funny that this is not the way it's worked out because people were lying to me that we're handling the money. But what good is it to make all the money if you just lose it all because you weren't compliant and the IRS takes it all? So you take that and you hire someone to help you with it. You got to be careful who you hire. You can trust in Ledger.io. Okay. Guys, we're going to look at the Proppy daily chart because our technical analyst expert, we'll just call him T-Will. He says right now with the daily chart, I'm just going to read these to you. We're sitting just below, barely below the point of control. So let's look over here and see where we're at. And he is correct. We are sitting, his point of control is this white line here. You can see we're the red candle here sitting right at it. But momentum is inching into the green on our high IQ oscillator, which we don't have the high IQ oscillator, but we'll turn on the high IQ A. And we've recently had a BitBoy bullish arrow, you can see right here, which indicates a long entry. But, of course, we get this gigantic candle wick right here. Where it went up, you would have made a lot of money. But, man, it dropped down like a gigantic amount. That's a 50% retrace. I mean, it went from like $1.40 to like $1. Like, that's huge. And so the point is when you see these kinds of wicks, it means that those are price ranges that there's orders and demand for. And so if it gets back into this wick zone of the green here gets back up above, $1.05 or so. Right now it's at $1.02. It's got potential to really move and break out back up into the $1.40 range, which is where you see the high IQ indicator has kind of the trend line. So this wick, here's what we're basically saying right now. With Proppy right now on the daily chart, here's your opportunity right here. That wick right there. There's demand there. It can move up quick. It's already demonstrated that. Will the markets have a flurry? And if there's a flurry, you can expect that range to be where Proppy is going to go to. So heading on over to the Bitcoin.
Oh, really quick.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to remind you when we're over at charts that we wanted to go to Jake's super chat.
Yes, we will go to that last. Okay. All right. So looking at Bitcoin on our, this is like a crypto face chart. This is how he makes his chart sometimes. Just all these drawings all over him. But we are now, as you can see here, back up, kind of bouncing right off of our predicted white line from a long time ago. We went under it. And now it's interesting because we're kind of on a upwards move and I had things kind of on a downwards move and we've met in the middle here. So this is actually, believe it or not, exactly where I predicted Bitcoin was going to be at this time. As I have not been able to say that here in a couple weeks, or at least maybe about a month after several months of being exactly correct. but it feels good. It feels good to be back up above the white line. And I have said that yesterday, I do believe that we are now on the upward trajectory of $118,000. So just some stuff on this chart. I'm just going to read this to you. I'm not going to show it to you today, but consolidating nicely above the 21-day EMA, Bitcoin, we're talking about. You don't like the longer green wick on yesterday's candle. As you can see, if we go into Bitcoin on the daily, it doesn't look very big when we have it zoomed out. But of course, when you do this, you see we've had 2 days in a row. We're on regular candles, correct? I've got high IQ on, so let me just double check that because it plays with the colors. Yeah, we're on regular, of course. You ever do that one? I call that the Mario Brothers. You know, that's where you're going through the warp zone. You're going through the little pipes there. So, okay, go back to candles. All right. So our high IQ turns it a certain color. And so people can't see the red and the green. They can if you actually look at the wicks. But the point is, the last 2 days, we've had upward momentum that got mushed. And today we've had back and forth momentum. So what's going to happen? Hard to say. We don't like the longer green wick. Today's candle could be the inverse with a wick on the bottom instead. And we got both, actually. So this was pre-predicted here by T-Will. I don't know what to do with that. This represents a brief pause and movement and indecision. And basically right now is not a great time to really be jumping into a Bitcoin trade, in my opinion, unless you're scalping the shorter trades. I do think that there is definitive upwards momentum that we are moving towards. So we have, but we need to wait for confirmations of that. We need to see it get above previous points of resistance, right at 108,000. Can it get above and push and stay and hold? It doesn't have to go much. It doesn't have to make it all-time high even. It just needs to get above 108 and hold and make a daily and start upward momentum. And that's when we're really going to start to see things, I think, really get exciting. It could be any week now. So for XRP, not much has changed. We still talked about that buying range in between $2.98 and $3.15. And you guys can come over here and check out XRP chart and see we're still in that range. We're still in our box. Look at that. I drew a box and we can just stay in it. It just stays there. We can just keep looking at this box. One of my favorite things to do, of course, as everybody knows, look at a nice box. And here it is, nice and purple. And we are right in the middle of it. So we did push up against the point of control, which is at 315, and we got rejected, came back down. So that's happened a couple times in the last few days for XRP. So, you might say to yourself, oh, it's huge news we're talking about today. Well, yes, it is. But everybody doesn't understand the way that this works. Everybody doesn't understand. The only people that watch this channel, you're the only people that know. The only people that know in the world that aren't connected, that understand that when you see a Grayscale ETF, it is an approval. It is coming. It also doesn't mean that BlackRock, most likely not Vanguard right now. I think there will be a time. Most likely BlackRock could potentially come in and slap one on top of Grayscale. And that's just, they're both going to get approved. But it's getting approved now, for sure. Yeah, I want the XRP army to hear me. 100% in XRP ETF is getting approved. I would say 99.9% in this bull run. There is a chance something could happen. Who knows? And it would be next bull run. I don't think so, though. Everything's set up for XRP to just continue momentum for as long as I can see forward. So, all right, guys, that was our signals and setups segment. We're going to try to get that segment pretty good. It's a little bit better than it used to be. Still not as good as it's going to be. And we're going to move in, actually, to talking about Mark Zuckerberg. That's right. Before we talk about XRP and we get to our news feed, we are going to start here. I got to change a little bit of this article. There's a couple wording, phraseology things I want to change a little bit, but I want to talk about this with you guys because I've been kind of teasing that we're doing this Zuckerberg stuff, and we are. We're going to be doing now. I've got everything I need for the video actually put together because I put in an article today on New World Finance, and people need to understand that when we tell you things like the XRP ETF is going to get approved, we say it with confidence, okay? I don't say everything with confidence, not everything, okay? I confidently said things before that maybe haven't happened. I confidently thought Ethereum was going to pass Bitcoin and it didn't happen, okay? I confidently thought Bitcoin was going to hit 100K. It did. It took a little longer than I thought, okay? But when it comes to XRP, we called that, we told you, and it happened. We were confident in what we said about XRP. We were confident when we said it's all a ruse and they'll win the SEC lawsuit. We were confident when we told you it's not going to be a security. Sure, timelines, we haven't been dead on timelines, but we're always correct. We've been correct about every single piece of the XRP case since it began outside of timelines, okay? What I'm telling you now is the same confidence that I said, oh, XRP is going to do this and do that. I'm telling you now that Mark Zuckerberg is now on the good team, and that Mark Zuckerberg and Meta are now significant players in AI. They have now shot themselves up to the third most important behind number one, XAI by Elon Musk. Number two, no, not Google. No, not ChatGPT. Number two is Amazon. I know you don't know that yet, but it is. Jeff Bezos is taking over a project from Elon Musk that is basically a super app for everything. I punched my coffee cup again. It's a super app for everything that we do in life. And they're going to be competitors, and that's okay. We want people like competition. You don't want a monopoly, and it's going to be good. These technologies come out similar times. Elon Musk will be 6 months ahead of Jeff Bezos. But something really interesting happened, which is somewhere along this path that I saw was kind of predictable with Elon Musk, since Mr. X has been preaching it to me since 2021, that he was turning him to the good side and that he was going to make permanent changes, and it happened. Same thing I was told about Amazon and Jeff Bezos, but Jeff Bezos is a little bit different because he's a little bit older. He's not really looking for, probably too many mentors. He's Jeff Bezos. But some people like Mark Zuckerberg saw that they made big mistakes in how they had proceeded forward. Guys, you have to understand that the social media technocracy was groupthink, for sure. It was being led by certain players and figures that are the elites, that are the non-mentions, they're the shadow figures that we all know run things. That was all led in a certain direction. And as long as those people were in power and those people were directing things and narratives, it was always going to be a certain way. And Zuckerberg went the exact way that they wanted him to go. Because, did he have a choice? Yeah, of course you have a choice on some level. But, that was the way that things really were going in this world. And things have changed drastically in the last 2 years, 365 days especially. You look at the transition to Trump, and then you look at the transition of all these players to Trump. And you have to understand that, from a long-term perspective, Trump, who was so contentious getting back in the White House, it seems a little odd that these players would just grasp onto him immediately. What, for a 4-year advantage when a Democrat's probably going to win in 4 years? I mean, that's been the pattern recently. And I don't know if that's going to happen, but I mean, guys, remember, I keep telling you guys, Trump's the president at the peak of the bull run. He's going to be the president at the peak of the bull run, which means he's also going to be the president at the bottom of the bear market. So he's going to get a lot of blame or, responsibility if people do bad or well based on cryptocurrency prices because he got them interested in it. You have to think about that. These are things that are just like I predicted that crypto would become a narrative in the elections. It did. That also is going to become a narrative is, how was crypto during the time he was president? Just like how was the stock market during the time someone was president? And they go hand in hand a lot of times, but not always. In August of last year of 2024, that's the first time that I can unequivocally say, without hints or, breadcrumbing, that I was handed evidence that Zuckerberg was going to be making a change in the way that he was doing things. Okay. You can go back. You can check the receipts. We had plenty of shows. We've been talking about it for a long time. It wasn't until near the end of September, the middle to the end of September, that there was any mention in the media about Zuckerberg kind of changing sides. And if you go back to September, there was an article about how he was making some kind of comment, I believe it was, on Trump and social media or something to that nature. Can't remember exactly what that article was. But the point is, we front ran that. We told you that was coming. Who else has this information? Who else told you that Zuckerberg was coming to our side before anyone had a hint of it? And that was in September. It was just a hint. It certainly was nothing that was telling you it was going to be permanent. Zuckerberg's now on the good side. He's now on our side. And how does this change things? Why does this matter? Why is it important that he's the third stepbrother with the Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly played in real life by Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos? Okay. He's the third stepbrother now. The three amigos. Okay. How did this come? Why is this so important? Because Zuckerberg is now in this club. There might be some type of shadow mentor that maybe is leading most or all of these people. And you watch Zuckerberg and you look at the steps that he's made, and it's very clear to see that someone is leading him in a very specific certain direction. And it just so happens to be the same direction that Elon Musk was the trailblazer, the figurehead, the beginning of. The same way Jeff Bezos has been the slower turn, the more methodical turn, and now he's right in the club at the same time. These are your three AI companies. These are your three AI companies. Google is a wild card only because it's still just kind of a matter of, are they going to be willing to play ball to be able to continue in the same turn that these other companies have done? If the answer is no, then they're not going to make it. They've got a new AI thing out. It's kind of cool. People like it. Okay, awesome. I see some of it. It's not that useful to me. It's been okay. Some things on maybe some Drive Google products. But the point is that these are your three companies. When you see Sam Altman and ChatGPT leading the way, as they seem to be, at least in America here, you look at those projects and it's easy to think that they're the best. It's easy to think that this local or latest headline about Google AI means it's now, we got OpenAI, we got Google. Those are the top two. Ooh. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. And it's going to be proven so. And you're going to see everything that I'm saying is true. And unfortunately, even though I seem to like the products of OpenAI, it's not going to be one of the top three major players. And I've already been using Meta and Llama and its products, and it's good stuff. And I was pointed in that direction, obviously. So where does this leave us when we're looking at Zuckerberg's shift and how this kind of matters? Well, we'll move on over to our article over here on, oh man, that's a lot of, we need some paragraphs here. We need some line breaks here. But anyways, the point is that the takeaway is that don't let anybody try to tell you what's happening when the real moves are already being made. And there's a hidden insight here that we love to talk about on New World Finance. And it's this, guys. And this is what, man, I tell you, this is what this channel is all about now. We are not just a crypto channel. We're not. Because just crypto is a thing, just like, I guess, exercise bike stocks is a niche in TradFi, I guess. Okay? It's now the same thing. And we're going to see more of this idea of everything becoming one over the rest of our lives, honestly. Okay? You have to understand that digital autonomy and sovereignty is everything, the most important thing to humanity going forwards. Okay? We are now in a window where Terminator's real. We're in a window where this could be happening right now. There are reasons why I don't think it is, and I'm not going to get into those. But what I'm telling you is quantum computing has been here since the 80s. Okay? Been around here. It's been here since the 80s being used. I mean, they're just now pretending like it was created. this technology from AI to do something like a Terminator. Not that specifically necessarily. It's there now. It is there. It could happen at any moment. It probably won't. And hopefully there's safeguards in place. But in this corporate space race of AI development that they'll constantly push, if it's not there now, it'll be soon. I think that it wouldn't surprise people if it was here now. Okay? Digital sovereignty, the ability for corporations to take and put up a stake inside of your digital life and what you do, is going to be their number one goal and purpose of every corporation that exists. In the same way, the data collection was the number one thing that every other company was trying to do without us knowing it in the early 2010s to the mid 2010s to today. This is how the phrase, the data's a new oil, it became a thing, because that's what Facebook was doing, Cambridge Analytica. And Mark Zuckerberg certainly has responsibility for that. But we like him now. He's on the good side. Let someone get on the good side. Forgive them for their transgressions and let them prove who they are now. And that's what's important. Let people prove to you who they have become. And that's what Zuckerberg is going to do. And nobody's going to believe it except for the people that watch his channel, just like we're the only people that believed that XRP was the chosen institutional vehicle. And we've told you that forever. Okay? We're going to be walking through a transition in the next, I don't know how long, especially we move to the BitBoy Bootcamp and we move more towards, I'm using AI products and doing things, of showing you what is the most important thing in your life. And I'm not talking about your money, actually, believe it or not. I'm not talking about your money right now. The most important thing in your life from about a year ago to going forward until mankind is totally wiped out of the workplace, which will happen one day. It will happen one day. We're going to go through a transition where if you don't learn to harness and use AI, you're going to not survive the next evolution of employment. Because the next evolution of employment is not what can you do. The next evolution of employment is, what are you worth? What is your value? What do you offer to the new process of work that adds to it instead of becomes a liability? And those who learn how to harness and use this technology, you're going to be the last survivors. You're going to be the last people that in a workplace sense. But I don't know. I think the dragons would turn on Daenerys the last, right? I don't know. She treated him pretty good. So this is kind of dark. I get it. But digital sovereignty and autonomy is what I and this channel embody, and what we're going to teach you how to do, how to get outside of just your money and your crypto now and your financial system. How do we put everything we've been learning for the last several years you've been watching the channel? Or if you're new, you check out the boot camp and you're going to get caught up. Signups very soon. Probably, I think Monday, Sunday, or Monday, we'll have signups very soon. You've got to stake your claim in this digital world. It's happening in front of our eyes. The transition to Wall-E is happening in front of our eyes. It's happening right now. You see it. Some of us who've been in this using it see it's coming faster than people understand. We're going to show you, and my goal here on this channel over the next, until the day I wipes me out, I guess, is to demonstrate and show to you how to keep digital sovereignty and autonomy, factor in decentralization to prepare yourself for what comes next. Because we're there. We're there. What comes next is now. We're there. And this needs to be a big wake-up call to people. It's not just BRICS happening. That's a world transition. We are there. So this channel is going to march you through how to handle all this. And we're going to do some dark videos. There's going to be some dark videos coming out over the next couple of days maybe, or the next week. But there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. There's going to be an answer to all of this. And how do we do it? I don't know. I hope I put this idea out there. And maybe if I can't accomplish it, maybe someone can. Because there's a very important task that mankind has today. A very important task. And it's not get off the planet. It's much, much, much more important than that. It's how do we stop the progression of the inevitable that all of us that have ever watched a science fiction movie and have half a brain knows is coming? How do we stop it? And yet still take advantage of the technology that makes our lives easier. That also, that progress cannot be stopped. And I think I've got some solutions for this. You guys are going to be want to watch it over the next week, especially as we move towards our AI theme shows here, not the next week, but the following week following. I'm going to start talking like a dork and say week following. That's because I'm a coder now. It makes sense. Okay. All right. Let's hit those super chats real quick. And then we're going to, that was my piece, my deep dive on Mark Zuckerberg and what he's doing. I could go into the specifics. You guys go to New World Finance and read it. There's a couple weird wording things I'm going to change later, but whatever, I digress. Okay, got an audio because you and Jay changed this from Derek Faisden. Even more on Unlock FUD. Awesome. Thank you. Check out DMs when you get a chance. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about any DMs, guys. I haven't checked DMs anywhere in a while. Cassie, the Bid Squad misses you. Well, that is nice. Thank you for that, Derek. I appreciate that. I don't know. Maybe Cassie's going to come to the show. Did she? Who won the poll?
Cassie did.
Cassie did win the poll.
Yes.
Congrats, Cassie. You have won the poll. I'm excited. So, okay, we'll have to talk about her costume choice. We'll have to figure out what that's going to be. And it's boot camp. She dressed like G.I. Jane. I don't know. We'll have to see. And then also, let's go back to Jake's super chat. Wait, well, think there will be an ETF for Ondo from Frank? Yeah, I do. I do think there will be an Ondo ETF. I think. Maybe it doesn't make sense. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't make sense because of the way it's set up. I'd have to do a little more research to find that out. Jake said, hot take, Bitcoin hits 140K around September. There's a fib line, a spider line, 500 days after the halving. The catalyst will be an economic cyber attack. It will cause us to go to war. I think it's supposed to say maybe US. I don't know. Us to go to war and make us beg for a CBDC every time we enter the Chinese year of the snake. We go into I don't know. Oh, he's saying that's real. I think he's saying that's real, actually. I thought he was like making a statement at the end, like, oh, every time we enter a Chinese year, we're going to go into war. No, I think he's saying that that's basically a natural cycle that we see, is that every time we enter the Chinese year of the snake, we end the year we go to war or something like that. Or by the end, we go to war. I can't understand exactly what that means. But yeah, I definitely think 140K by September is very accurate. I think that's about timing. I think that's probably good. And I do think we will see some dramatic stuff. And I would listen to Jake. Jake seems to know some things. Jake is someone who has been in our Discord. And I have learned things from, like he's someone who I said, oh, well, wait till you know about this. And he said, oh, yeah, I actually know about that. Here's this, this, and this. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, awesome. Maybe you can teach a class. Jake, we like you. He's a good guy. We like people named Jake. Our Officer Tazinski from the Minneapolis Police Force. That guy has helped us tremendously in uncovering what's actually the reality of what happened in my situation. There is a lot of great Jakes out there. So we just want to say thank you to all the Jakes.
How do you feel about the Jake from State Farm?
I hate Jake from State Farm. I hate the whole thing. I really, really do. I really, really, really do.
You got some news?
I get it on the DMs. Haha, no worries. Have a great weekend. Of course. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. So there we go. Let's move into what everybody wants to do. Everybody wants to talk about this one thing that I'm about to say. It's a top news story. Everybody knows what that story is going to be, man. I don't know how these XRP Army people are going to handle it, but smash the likes before newsfeed. That's what everybody wants to hear. Smash the likes. That's what everybody wants to hear. That was it. Newsfeed. Smash the likes. Number one thing. Okay. Is it news feed or is it news feed?
I think it's Sfeed.
Sfeed.
It's the news feed.
Hello, my name is Sfeed. I'm tall. I like to go to IKEA. Sorry, digress. Time to burn that tangent token and refocus. All right, guys. Grayscale has now filed for an XRP ETF. And let's go to the story, guys. I mean, this is big news. This is victory lap day. This is confirmation day. This is a day that the XRP army can look at and watch this channel and understand the truth of what this means today? I don't say this about other things. I tell you the opposite. I tell you when Canary Capital files it, it doesn't mean anything other than marketing, or it maybe a inkling of what may come. But Grayscale filing, this is the news. This is what means this is happening. So here we are. Grayscale files for spot XRP ETF with the New York Stock Exchange amid policy shift. Grayscale has filed for a spot XRP ETF with the New York Stock Exchange, signaling a policy shift in the U.S. crypto market. And I also believe a power shift in the world of crypto players, as Grayscale has once again put down its marker as a very important, significant, impactful company of crypto. Now that Barry Silbert and Michael Sonnenschein are no longer with that company, it's a new generation, it's a new brand of leadership, it's a totally different company. Of course, Michael Sonnenschein, one of my connections on LinkedIn. So keeping up with what he's doing. I think he works maybe securitized with a company in crypto still to this point. Barry Silbert, I don't know where. I think Barry Silbert also has landed somewhere else. I can't remember where it is, but these were the main players really since 2012 with Barry Silbert when it comes to the digital currency group and Genesis Trading and or second markets, the whole apparatus that makes up the company that's Grayscale. That was the first main kind of institutional stock, crypto stock in a sense. The Grayscale Trust, the Bitcoin Trust, is what eventually becomes the ETF. And we've seen that pattern with a lot of different things, such as Grayscale filing for the XRP Trust. They were the ones that filed for the trust. And now the same pattern we've seen with some other projects there in Bitcoin, they're now filing for the XRP ETF. And it doesn't mean that every project that gets a trust is going to get an ETF, but XRP was much different because the only thing holding it back was regulatory compliance. And once it achieved that, it was obvious that they were going to put it on. So, man, I tell you what, you guys, there's nobody else that can tell you guys what's going on in crypto like this. There's nobody, man. I have more command of the show than I've ever had, actually. And it's all because of what? These cards. They're just amazing. Just got to go back to basics. Okay. All right, guys. Look, let's look at the details here of the story. Grayscale has officially pushed for an XRP ETF on the New York Stock Exchange. The ETF filing follows the SEC's recent losses in crypto cases. So you guys know that the SEC lost a case to Grayscale. And, you know, kind of what we saw here, okay? Kind of what we saw is that there was a period of punishment that Grayscale endured because of some of the sins of some actors in that company. When they filed for a lawsuit against the SEC, those people were punished for doing that. And there was a lot of other reasons there was some punishment as well. They were punished for doing that. They were not allowed to be kind of they did not get their thing approved first. I don't think they were approved in the first round, but they were definitely not the leader and they were definitely not the first approved. And that meant that a lot of those funds were going to other ETFs, which were mainly the BlackRock one, the IBIT, I think it's called. And when you actually think about it, and when you look at Grayscale and you look at the flows of the ETF since creation back in 2024, was it December or was it January? I can't remember. Was it January when we got approved finally? I can't remember when I met with Gary. It was January, December. I think it was December, wasn't it?
January, February, maybe.
I don't know. It was definitely not February. It was definitely December or January. It was very cold when I was out there, clamoring for my meeting with Gary that I got that we approved the ETF in. But the point is that Grayscale has done one thing mainly since the ETFs have launched. Do you know what it is? Sold their Bitcoin. While BlackRock has been gobbling up Bitcoin in their ETFs overall, and they're now the biggest holder, Grayscale was doing nothing but selling at the beginning. These were because of past sins. And this was because they were doing offloading, and there was a lot of restructuring that was going in the mindset and structure of digital currency group. And now today, I can say, for the first time since I've been in crypto, when Grayscale does something, not only does it have power and impact, It actually aligns with what I like and what I want and what's good for the space, I believe. And I actually can feel confident that they're not going to get caught up in maybe a big SEC lawsuit and they all go to prison, which I couldn't say before. There was a lot of manipulation going on in that company for a long time. They're influencing everything, and just people couldn't see it. I remember the video done on crypto YouTube back in 2017 that displayed all this and showed how many different companies in crypto the digital currency group touched. It was every one of them almost, in a sense. It was, in a way. Like, in a roundabout way, they had their hands on everything, and they were controlling the space, including one of their number one assets they had, which was CoinDesk. And it was the ability to control and shape the narrative. And they still ended up getting punished at the end of it. So I think it is really, if you're in XRP today, you need to understand what's coming. This is getting approved. You need to understand prices for XRP. They have gone up. Price targets have now gone up. And this is the moment where the gap between what regular crypto knows and what the Bit Squad knows can make you the money, which is why people keep coming back and watching this channel. That's the gap. Nobody else can tell you today that this means 100% is getting approved. I can. Boom, boom. Okay.
January 8th and 9th, you were at the SEC.
That's right, guys. January 8th and 9th, man. It goes back a time when a meeting between a beautifully headed man and a beautifully haired man took place in order to achieve crypto and TradFi harmony. And that's what me and Gary did. Gary Gensler, one of my buddies. Out of power now, they say. What crypto company is he going to go work for?
So he's going back to MIT to go teach. And you see the Winklevoss said that they are not hiring anyone that graduates from MIT until Gary's gone.
I am going to enroll in MIT. I am going to apply to enroll in MIT. I want to take Gary's class, in his class. And I promise you guys, for 100%, I'm going to try to leverage my name and who I am, which is not really that significant, but maybe more important than me spilling my coffee again. I should scoot that a little further away. It's not in the shot anyway, so I should not have it in between. It's literally in between me and my trackpad, which are two things that don't go together. Coffee and trackpad. MIT crypto course, Gary Gensler BitBoy, those things go together. Those things are perfect matches. MIT, I'm going to talk to Mr. X, see what kind of connection he's got over at MIT. I mean, those people got to be reeling after the Sam stuff and after, taking so much money from Jeffrey Epstein and stuff, they probably need some positive crypto news, tech news, You bring in the BitBoy, you have him learn blockchain from the one and only Gary Gensler, and people get to see our dynamics and how friendly we are with each other, and they get a little taste of why the ETF got approved. I mean, it's really background perspective. You cannot miss it.
Do you think they would let you live stream from the classroom?
Well, his whole entire blockchain course is on YouTube. The whole thing. That's how we know that he was saying completely opposite stuff than what he was saying when he got in. Like completely opposite, like factual things, But I gave him a hard time about that. I roused him a little bit. Roused him a little bit. I think they call it. I ribbed him a little bit.
Ribbon.
Little ribbon to old Gary. And, there's not much on the ribs, so it actually kind of bruised him a little bit. But it didn't bruise his ego, though, because that man, he's confident. He's confident. He's always done the right thing. He's confident. He's always done the right thing. And as a person who's also always done the right thing, I respect that. Okay. Next, guys, speaking of people who've done the wrong thing. Sam Bankman-Fried, that's right, SBF, guys. Who is Sam Bankman-Fried? He is a fuzzy-headed felon, as you guys know, and we've got exciting news, as I can now tell you for 100% sure that on the show on Monday, we are going to debut our first letter we're going to write to Sam in prison. Let's go, guys! That's right, guys. We do have Sam Bankman-Fried's prison address, and we will be sending him a letter. If somebody can give me the information, is he still rooming with P. Diddy? I need to know what P. Diddy's making him do. That's what I want to know, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Sam Bankman-Fried asked Trump for a get out of jail card, and man, I can tell you that is something that's definitely going to happen. Am I right? Donald Trump, he lets out Ulbricht. Veer asked for a pardon. I don't know. Joe Exotic's back. Did Joe Exotic get one?
No, I don't think yet.
No, not yet, man. That's tough right there. But we got now Sam Bankman-Fried, whose parents ran a targeted campaign to make sure that Donald Trump didn't win the last election. seeking presidential pardon from Donald Trump. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It never stops the entitlement of these people. I'm trying not to be too hard on Sam because, look, he's in prison. He's doing his due. He did what he did, and he got what he got. And a lot of people didn't think he was going to face charges, and we told you the whole time he was. And another one of those gigantic wins where we were the only people telling you the truth. We were on the ground on that one. And, now he's asking for a pardon. Let's see what he said. His parents are seeking a presidential pardon. Will he be granted clemency? Clemency, related to Mark Twain. His last name was Clements. How about that? Well,
Like
Mark
Roger,
Twain.
like Roger Clemens?
It is no Clements with a T.
Oh, with a T.
Yeah, well, I know Roger Clemens had a lot of tea. A lot of tea he was shooting in those every twice a week probably. Okay. Parents of Sam Bankman-Fried, the convicted founder of the collapsed FTX exchange, are reportedly seeking a presidential pardon from one DJT. President 45 V2. President Donald Trump. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Bloomberg reports that Stanford law professors Joseph Bankman and Barbara Fried have met with lawyers and figures within Trump's orbit to discuss clemency for their son. And I now understand the first letter we're writing to Sam, we're going to get him involved. We're going to get him engaged. We're going to ask him, Sam, here's the question. Would you be willing to use your connections to make sure that BitBoy gets accepted and enrolled into Gary Gensler's blockchain course at MIT? Would you be willing to do that, guaranteed, if we pardon you? And I think it's a pretty fair trade. I think most people would agree that if we could get that, we would let him out of prison. So, Sam, if we can get that course hooked up, I don't know if I'll ask. I will playfully actually ask him that. It'll be real funny. I think it'll be funny. I don't know if anything's funny when you're in federal prison. I think it's the opposite. I think it's actually everything is funny when you're in federal prison. Like when you get something that's from the outside. Now, I've never been to federal prison. My buddy TJ and his dad are going to go at some point, but and Justin, I've never been though. I'm never going to go to federal prison. And so you got to be wondering, well, what goes on there? I don't know. Is it actually cush enough that someone like Sam would not be extremely uncomfortable? I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. But what I do know is I don't think you're supposed to be comfortable in prison. And in most kind of group environments, it's a prison environment or a rehab environment or some kind of group home environment, something like that. Boot camp when you're in the military. When you get something from the outside, man, it's like reading for the first time. Everything's funny, everything's sad, everything's happy, like everything's really dramatic. And so I don't know. Is that how Sam is right now? Would he be like that? Is he, or is he having a good time? I don't know. What do you guys think? Can we put a poll up?
Yeah.
Is Sam Bankman-Fried having a good time in prison? If he's roommates with Diddy, I kind of feel bad. Hashtag Bab. Why oil? Oh, that's baby oil. Oh, Diddy and baby oil. There seems to be a connection there, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. We'll find out about, this just in. We got an entire dump truck of baby oil that was just scooped out of P. Diddy's bathtub. That's what they say. He's big on the baby oil. I don't know. It was about that much they took from his house, I think.
Cases. Pallets.
And speaking of, we're going to stop. Diddy? I don't know. Okay. Retail investors scoop up NVIDIA dip. If you guys didn't know this, there was a big drop in NVIDIA after the discussions of DeepSeek, as many people thought this was the end of GPUs forever and DeepSeek was just going to usher in China, everything. But I don't know if that's right because I don't even know. I guess they probably make GPUs there too. But NVIDIA's DeepSeek dump sparked $1 billion of retail investors jumping in. And this is an important story to think about because why is this important? What do people think? They think that NVIDIA is really just disappearing overnight and their GPUs there's so much demand for that if you get into AI, you're going to realize you need, if you want to do anything more than play on ChatGPT. When that happens, people start realizing that it's going to go out the roof. But remember, the money's made in the moves and the elites and the institutional players. What do they like to do? They like to make that money. They like to make that money in the moves. So if you're an institution and you don't feel like you got enough stocks or shares or whatever you got of NVIDIA and you want to get some more, you just put out a story that is the same story that would have been put out anyways, but you just make it extra scary and extra language. And it's very easy because, you can take an entire article and you can go to ChatGPT and you can put it in there and you say, hey, rewrite this in literally any kind of tone you want to say, and it will totally rewrite the article exactly like that. Okay. So it's really easy to control the language of what is said in articles. It's very easy. Intentionally, these large companies and institutions will collaborate or collude with the mainstream media or media sources, or maybe playing with scam wicks on exchanges to be able to get narratives the way that they want it, to be able to tell people what they want people to be told in order to get the result they would want, which is in this case a major dump, so they can come in and buy. And here we have $1 billion. It says retail investor buying frenzy. How do we know that? I'm not 100% sure. But if it's $1 billion retail buying frenzy, then what do you think the institutions were doing? You think they're just So anyways, NVIDIA is going to be a major player, continuing to be. Their crypto-related AI projects crypto-related AI projects could benefit if NVIDIA really gets a big bounce here, because it will just continue to show the progression of AI and where we're going, and that it is going to get bigger, and you got any more GPUs. Like, guys, there's a 0% chance NVIDIA is not double its size in the next, I don't know, year, 2, 3. I can't say because I don't look at stock that much exactly when. I don't think you guys have a clue what's happening in the world right now. I don't think you know. It doesn't matter how many times I say it to you. To get out there and you look at it and you see it with yourself, you don't understand what's happening. We are in transition of the largest evolution in human history. That's what we're going through. The Industrial Revolution, you think we were still doing stuff. By the end of this one, we won't. Especially the people that really don't know what's going on. The people that do understand what's happening, those people will be ahead of the curve and be able to wield these technologies and things in order to I'm trying to see what's going on here. This is UPS or something. It's definitely not to my Uber Eats, because I didn't order Uber Eats, excuse me. Uber Eats. But man, I sure do like ordering Uber. Well, Uber Eats, check. What's the last thing you ordered on Uber Eats? Do you know what's the last thing you ordered?
Ooh, probably when I don't.
You don't order out from any place?
No, I would either go to a restaurant or we just make it at home. Yeah.
That's all we do, and I've ever done for my whole life, I feel like.
That's wild. I think if I'm traveling, like
Cassie's worse than I. We're the same in so many things. I also have a theory. Can I talk about my Amazon wife theory? I believe that all wives believe they're one of Amazon's biggest customers, because every wife receives more packages than her husband. And her husband is always saying, you get so many packages. It doesn't matter. Like, I used to think, I've seen situations where, I would get like about 1 to 3 packages, and I get a good bit of packages. Of every one I get, the other person might get 3. And it's like a 1 to 10, and I get multiple packages every day. I don't understand it. But I do believe that I think I've seen a lot of couples, and most of the wives believe they're Amazon's number 1 customer, because I think their husband tells it to them all the time. It's a theory I have. What do you think? Is that true?
Yeah, it sounds legit.
Sounds legit. Okay. Second thought, me and Ryan think he might like that. That's scary. Talking about Diddy and Sam Bankman-Fried, I think. Okay. Next story. SEC fast tracks Bitwise's Bitcoin Ethereum ETF, signaling broader crypto adoption. That's right, guys. The SEC has given the green light to a dual Bitcoin Ethereum ETF from Bitwise, expanding investor access. And this is what we call punishments and rewards. Okay, remember we've been telling you guys, like, hey, if these big fish don't do this, then these other guys, it doesn't really matter. But these other guys stay out here doing these things. Now, why do they keep doing it? Because they get the scraps. They get to be the innovators of the things that the bigger guys are like, we're too big for that. It's kind of like, I'm not really going to go to a faucet where I get 1 Satoshi an hour. Like, that's not really, it's not going to do much for me. It's like pennies over years, or whatever it is. It doesn't do anything. And that's the way the institutions are with these secondary ETFs, that they don't want much to do it. That's why you can tell the XRP one's a major one. And don't look at don't look at Ethereum and what's happened with its ETF. And judge what will happen with an XRP ETF, because the Ethereum ETF was launched at a time when all the excitement was the Bitcoin ETF period. It was going full blast and people were excited about it. Ethereum got a little bit of a pump and a run, but it's been nothing but downside because the institutions are controlling it. You see, the difference is the XRP ETF is going to come at a super, super, super bullish time in this market. When things are bullish, when people are excited, right? That's when it's going to come. The Ethereum one came before we were in the halving. We're in a bull run, right? And Bitcoin took all the air out of the room. It's because I think they strategically planned to do all this with Ethereum and really kind of manipulate it and make it their little institutional toy. And with XRP, they're not going to do that. XRP already is their institutional toy. And they know how to use this one, actually, because they've been degenerate long before people were getting rug pulled on PancakeSwap. Okay? The institutions invented degeneracy. The craziest contracts that we have that exist that are this person leveraging this to pay this, to invest in this, to get this loan, to pay this off, to collateralize this. That's the institutions invented that. That's what they do. Like the most degenerate tools they have are almost the exact same as the most degenerate tools the crypto people do. Okay. They're just playing in a sandbox where they can't lose. Kind of like when like some of the developers would build in stuff or the teams would screw you and they knew certain things. Okay, so Bitwise gets a reward. They get that ETF approved. Congratulations to Bitwise. Is it going to move that much? I don't know. It's a Bitcoin Ethereum ETF. We've seen some of these. I think Franklin Templeton has filed one somewhere in that range. I don't know if it's technically a hybrid like this one is. I think it is. I think they filed for something, but we'll see. This will do okay, and they'll get a lot of benefits, like we talked about yesterday. Some of these companies, they don't need that much. ICP. That's right, guys. We're going to go to the Insane Clown Posse. And we are sad to report that their last musical performance has not been done yet. We are sad to report that. Sad to report that ICP is still out there making music and doing concerts. Yes.
It's called The Thing, though. It's called, there's a name.
The Juggalos.
No.
Oh.
No, like they're little, it's the gathering of the Juggalos, right? Isn't that what's called maybe?
I don't know if you could make it sound lamer than that, but that sounds lame enough. I don't know.
I'll have to check. Let me fact check.
Guys, I love ICP, the Crypto Project Internet Computer Protocol. It's amazing. It's much different than any other chain that you guys have ever seen, and it is going to do very well in this bull run, I believe. It has not had its day in the sun yet, but it's starting to get some momentum. The Internet Computer Protocol, it has an HBAR partnership, and now it's experiencing a surge in on-chain activity. Daily addresses reaching an all-time high, or as we know it, an AF. That's right, guys. They're going to reach that AF. As natural utilization grows, investor interest is increasing, potentially setting the stage for ICP's price recovery. However, market volatility, and whale activity remain key factors influencing its trajectory. But it's got record-breaking network engagement, or net engagement, as I just called it just now for the first time ever. They've got whale activity moving. They've got an innovative protocol. And now you're starting to see some of the people starting to use it. And here's one thing I know about Internet Computer Protocol and the way that it works. There is a niche of person out there that's about my age that will understand how to use it pretty well, because it's almost just like using America Online. And I know that sounds crazy because you say, America Online is so old and archaic. And blah, blah, blah. What I mean by that is kind of this is the way Internet Computer Protocol works. It's very similar to the way that America Online used to be. When you would log into it back in 1998, I guess, and it would take you to a dashboard. And if you used America Online in the 90s, you most likely, for a long period of time, did not realize the internet existed. You knew it's called the internet and you thought you were using it. But in fact, you realized you never did anything outside of what was hosted on the America Online corner of the internet.
Email and chat rooms, baby.
Email and chat rooms, the sports message bulletin boards, right? There, I don't remember what else there was, but that seemed to be the video game stuff I did at the time. I was a young kid in middle school. And so Internet Computer Protocol actually works kind of similar to that. It's like you go into a place on the internet to where you're in the ecosystem, but you're still like kind of in the regular internet ecosystem too, but you're in the side pocket where you can do everything on the network you can do. And it's just very fascinating. It's not like it's other places are more like we talked about the difference between a wallet and a remote. We call it a wallet, but it's really more like a remote. Like it's your account is like your TV. Your wallet is your remote. Your interface, you're using the interface with it. And this is kind of the same thing in a sense, is that ICP is actually the closest thing to the TV that's ever been around in crypto. It's the closest thing to the TV, to the actual, like, you're in the network. The network is a place and you're inside of it. Like, it's not like crypto transactions or the way we custody it. Like, it's very fascinating to me. And that's why I've always really liked, I like Dominic behind it. And I hate what Sam and those guys at Avalanche, AVAX Labs did to, did art, people from Arkham did to ICP, because it's a viable project and it always was. And they knew it was going to be a big competitor. And that's why they tried to destroy it from the beginning. So congratulations to them. Let's move on to drill bits. I couldn't decide if I wanted to make it drill bits or drill bits. I never could decide that. And I think ultimately the graphic designer just put it on there. I guess it's drill bits, I guess. Exciting news. We have a metal ring coming to the card soon. Okay, guys, let's go and let's talk about everybody's favorite thing, which is RWAs or RWAs. What a beautiful graphic, man. I tell you, Vanessa just outdoes herself every day. Great job, Vanessa. Great. Ah! You guys couldn't see that. I zoomed in real close, but J-Chains controls it, so you can't see that. Okay. Today, we're going to be talking about real estate and commodities. We're going to be talking about tokenized real estate, some of the companies attached to those. We're going to be talking about commodities as RWAs. And we're going to be talking about the two main things we're looking at here, which are really real estate and commodities. Now, you can bring me out here. As we talked about Proppy, as you guys know, this is a company that's involved inside of the real estate tokenization game already. It's an established player. It's an innovator. There are other ones out there, but this has always been a really, really easy place for us to see blockchain going, right? And you know, J-Chains, we've been talking about real estate for years, right? Mm-hmm. What are some of the other things that are like that? We've been told you buying a cup of coffee with crypto, right? That's the number one. If you think of any other ones, feel free to add them. Like some things we got thoughts like this would mean adoption, or this would, this was an innovative company in this early industry and, it's still around. There's not many of them. You look back at layer ones, obviously Ethereum, those are around, but almost like Neo, XEM or NEM,
all that stuff's gone.
All of the Dash, like it's all just, there's a big tie-in, by the way, between the Dash Foundation, Dash influencers, and people that were laundering money in my company and people that were attacking me. There's a big connection around those people. It's very interesting. If people ever want to dig into it and look, you might find some stuff. Howdy, ho. Okay. Lesson plan. We're going to be talking about use case here. And, it really is interesting because almost every time that I have a format for these, I do some research, compile some stuff, I put the report together, and then I go to some of my tools that I use, and I have it compiled into an easy to read and format thing that is reproducible on the show so I can talk about it, okay? And the thing is I'm using some of these tools almost every time that any type of prompt was to give me anything about tokenization and examples and analogies. It's a real estate example every time. Every time it's a real estate example. Every time. It's so crazy. Like, without saying don't do a real estate example, it will do a real estate example every time because it's so easy, even for AI and computers, and to understand the connection between property and digital ownership.
I think that, when you think about it like that way, because I agree with you, it's almost like that's going to be the biggest disruption, right? Like you had Uber disrupt the taxi industry. You had Airbnb disrupt the hotel industry. Like that's when whoever breaks the mold on this is going to disrupt the real estate industry.
Listen, outside of YouTubers, realtors, and there's so many of them. I don't want to make them mad, but they're the cockiest people in the world I've ever met. Lawyers, I guess, probably might be number one because they always think they control the rules. They control the good old boy network until some ladies get involved. But the point is, I was just reading that chat down there. But the point is that, where was I train of thought, man? I really lost it. What was it on?
Like disruption. We were talking about
real estate disruption. Right. Realtors are very cocky. If you are not a realtor and you try to explain anything about the real estate market, which I know a lot about on a macro sense because of what I do, and I see trends and say things, and the realtors always say I'm wrong because they always want to say that somebody's got to buy a house now. And they say, blockchain's not going to take over real estate. It probably may not take you over. It may not. It's taking over transactions. Still need realtors now. You're not special. You're not. If you're a counselor or someone who works with mentally disabled people every day in a deep, meaningful way, if you do childcare, you are in a much better position. If you change diapers at a daycare, you are in a better position than realtors when it comes to the future of your industry. Honestly, there is no guys. Crypto's all about transactions. All real estate is a fancy transaction. It's going to be gone soon, guys.
I mean, I'm telling you, even down to the brokers or the people who manage like the deal, the loan officers, all that kind of stuff. I mean, all that stuff's changing.
Yeah. Stop thinking you're special. Unless you are in a completely relationship driven business. We're talking mentor. We're talking pastor, maybe still for a while people, whatever. We're teachers. You still need a human hand in teaching, I think, for kids. For adults, you don't, I promise. And you start seeing that, might be one of the reasons that this is taking so long with property, because realtors fight against this hard. That's why they don't want to talk about this stuff, because they make more money for doing less than most people. And I'm not saying they don't do anything. I know realtors do a lot, but the amount of bang for their buck when they are good at what they do, deservedly so, is very high. It's very high. All the rich people in the world are in real estate, and they're able to learn real estate, and then they're able to take what they know about buying property, and they're actually able to do it for themselves and have, massive amounts of property by the time they die and things like that. It's great. It's ending. Like it's over. It's going to be over. It's going to be over in the next 10 years for sure. 10 years, 100%. There will be no realtors. 10 years max. And I don't know why they fight. The truckers didn't fight that hard. The truckers know it's coming, and they've always known it was coming. They just have always wanted it to be further away than it is. And it has been a little further away than I thought it might have been even. I thought it'd be by now. We got technology. But what you see is there's a secret sauce to, even with these real world assets, and what we're talking about, there's a secret to the sauce of the transition. And a lot of times we have just been walking around kind of on, automation, which is really funny, automated, thinking that things are a certain way and they will continue to be that way. And things are much different now, and they're changing right in front of your eyes. And when you look at the tokenization of real estate, this is just the beginning of this for the real estate industry. It's just the beginning. And this is now a thing they can't stop. This is now a thing that a march has begun. It's similar to an inevitable march to truth through lies. Eventually, you're going to get there. Eventually, this is where we're going, where everything is automated transactions. Real estate is automated. It's fractionalized, represented by digital ownership, most likely NFTs. And property is going to be probably there leading the way. But there's some other competitors. So, I didn't want to give you guys an example of what this looks like because it's so obvious. We give so many examples of real estate in the last several days, right? You own a piece of the Eiffel Tower. You own an apartment building, whatever. Some other companies are doing this other than Proppy are Realty. They tokenize U.S. properties. They allow investors worldwide to own fractions of residential or commercial real estate. This is one I've not looked into, and I need to. It's definitely one that I need to because maybe this has become the number one. It's under my nose. So we're going to check it out and look at what they do. They actually have some real use case. They had a Detroit property that tokenized their property into shares, and they paid rental income directly to token holders via blockchain. It's a perfect example of everything we've always said would be a great thing if we were able to do, and here we are doing it. Aspen Coin is a very interesting project. I'm not telling you to buy this coin. What I am saying is they tokenize the St. Regis Aspen Resort, enabling fractional ownership of a luxury hotel, something you would have only had the opportunity to do on the crypto version of Monopoly, as you know. I'm sure there is one. Actually, fun fact, I wanted to create a crypto monopoly physical board game back in 2018. I looked into it and someone had actually already done it, but there's not a law or rule that prevents anyone from making their own branded monopoly for anything. I mean, you can't make it. I can't go make a McDonald's one because I don't have McDonald's IP, but you could go make anyone. The rules of monopoly have been in law and litigation. They've been ruled to be like, you can use all the main parts of the game as long as you make it unique. So that's an interesting fact for you guys. Anybody can make their own crypto one. Somebody needs to make the XRPL monopoly, and then we'll play it live on the show one day.
Altcoin monopoly.
Altopoly. It sounds like something that Sam and Caroline were in. I don't know what they call it. Okay. Facilities, or excuse me, Proppy, of course, facilitates. We've already talked about them. We're not going to go over it again, just other than to tell you that Proppy is a very serious innovator and has been around in the space and is the most well-known and consistent project that we have in this space today, going all the way back to 2017. Some of the stuff about why do we tokenize? Now, hey, look, we got to back up just a little bit. I know we're on day 4 here, or day 5, whatever it is, day 5, Friday. But you have to understand what is this? Is when we're taking things that are not on blockchain, that don't have digital value, and we are giving them value, and we're placing them onto a blockchain represented by tokens and fractionalized shares, divided similarly to how fractions of Bitcoin are divided in code, so that more people are able to get access to opportunities like owning something and renting something out without having to own the whole enchilada. And ask people in Canada about that. They'll be able to tell you. Go look at housing prices in Canada and how they've shot all the way to absolutely unaffordable prices. Nobody can afford houses in Canada pretty much. They all rent stuff. And it went through the roof because things change. Things change, very, very quickly. And tokenizing things and getting them on the blockchain and them anchored to something and tethered, and tethered is a bad word because we use, Tether as a crypto project, but I did mean it in the sense of the verb. Tethered to blockchain. Now you can trade that and move that around digitally anywhere that you want. You take things that are not on the blockchain, you move them on the blockchain, you represent them by something digital, which is a token, and now you can trade it. And most likely it's not going to end up on the crypto market cap. Remember, this is different. The crypto market cap is different than the fractionalized or tokenized economy market cap, which is going to be anything that is off chain, that comes on chain, that is not publicly tradable on crypto markets. Does that make sense? I know it gets complicated. It really does. Because if you're in the world of development, you've got a whole other world of tokens too, or access tokens and things like that. So in the world of real estate, just like in the world of institutional investing, they're always looking for a few things. They're always looking for accessibility. They're looking for people to be able to invest no matter where they're at. They want to be able to sell to anybody, right? Accessibility. Because small investors now can play some of those whale games with these institutional or investment vehicles that they couldn't before, which means more real estate investment vehicles as well. I mean, think things like, I don't know if this technically would count, but like those mortgage-backed securities and stuff that triggered the whole 2008 thing. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know you could bet hedge against mortgages and groups of mortgages based on how reliable the creditors are. Like, that's insane. It's insane. There can be all kinds of stuff like that. There's going to be more things like that. Think about this. Think about prop bets for the NFL, right? Let's go back to 1995. If you wanted to make prop bets on the NFL, on the Super Bowl, how would you do it? I don't even know. You have a local bookie. That's only, go to Las Vegas. That's the only way. But what did bringing betting digital allow people to do? Open up to more kinds of bets. Now you can bet in real time. Now you can bet on the first touchdown, and right when it happens, your money's in your account. If the guy who you bet is going to score, it scores. I did last year. I did pick the overtime in the Super Bowl last year. I did, or it was 2 years. Well, no, it was last year. Yeah, I did. I did not actually pick that prop bet because I didn't bet, but I did give that prop bet to a couple people to make. And did you make that? I told you to do it.
No, I know AJ did.
AJ did, and then there was a safety as well. That's right. And I think I called that one too. That's always the safety in the Super Bowl is almost always a good bet. I wouldn't do it this year because it just happened last year. I usually wait like maybe there's 2 Super Bowls without safety, man, you start piling on that thing because they happen. Yeah. They happen intentionally sometimes. They kick them out of the back of the end zone and all kinds of stuff, you know? So
who is it? It's Chiefs, Eagles, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. I just
come on, man.
Chiefs, Eagles, man. It's not that I hate. Look, I mean, nobody likes Philadelphia's fans. They're a little bit better now. They're not so bitter all the time. But I think I hope the Eagles win. Maybe I don't know. It's hard for me to say that. I like Jalen Hurts, so I'll say. And I like some of the players, Saquon and AJ Brown. I like some. So look, I guess actually the truth is they've got a lot of Georgia Bulldogs over there too. They got a lot of dogs over there on Philadelphia's team. So
all right, fly Eagles, fly, baby.
Yeah, and it's just like, what happens if Patrick Mahomes wins again? Like what? Like what do we
want to think about it?
He's somehow, this man will have an argument in his first 7 years. He's already better than Tom Brady. So and it's legit. If he wins again, it's 4 Super Bowls, more than anybody had ever won in history, tied until Brady won more. It's crazy. Sorry, we don't want to get a football sidetrack. Back to real world things like assets, not sports. Liquidity. More people, more pool, more money, more trading, more opportunities. That's easy to consider. Transparency. Blockchain allows tamper-proof record keeping, so solve some of those problems like the title lock thing we were looking at earlier. There's global reach. Now, you can sell something to someone that's never going to see it in person and doesn't care and is just going to buy a part of it. I don't look, if I'm buying the top bowl of your toilet in your house that's fully furnished and that's the piece I'm giving, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it anyways. I don't know why I would even want to invest in that. It's a dirty business. Actually, the upper bowl should not be dirty. Actually, it should be completely clean. My brother's a plumber. Global reach. Investors remain part of the world. As I was saying, it's borderless. Real world impact, democratizing access to real estate markets, expanding investment opportunities for underserved populations. Just a really great representation here of commodities. You see gold and oil here. There are blockchains out there that are working in the oil commodity field. They're trying to make oil. You've got the Petro blockchain that I don't think is the same as the petrodollar. That's a big scam from Venezuela. But there are some blockchains that are working on the oil side. We do know that energy and oil are going to be a big, big issue coming up. VACT, VAKT is another one that's doing something similar. And gold, we know there's plenty of companies out there. Paxos Gold is the biggest one. A lot of people know they've been around in crypto. There's also Tether Gold, which is XAUT. And I do think it's going to be a good time to buy some gold here pretty soon. I don't think right now crypto's having us run up against it. When it reverses, it'll be good. Benefits of RWAs in crypto with real estate and commodities, global market access, hedging against inflation, efficient trading. And we've been heavy on real estate because it's so much of this. Like, how much can we really say tokenized gold? Like, okay, you get it. Real estate's a much more complicated market, worldwide market. What are some of the challenges here when we look at RWAs and we look at crypto? Verification and custody. Now, that's a big, big, big issue. How are you going to ensure that the physical commodity actually exists and is securely stored in a way that everybody isn't sharing the same piece of gold in a corner of a warehouse, right? That actually what you're owning is a digital representation that is verified with authenticity that you can claim and you do have ownership of. That's where the challenges come in, because what's to stop someone from perpetuating that scam we were talking earlier, where they just say, oh, this is an abandoned house. I'm going to rent it out and take a thing in from somebody, right? Well, you've got to have the authenticity to do this, because people will just make fake houses and make a fake digital representation of it and then sell fake houses, fake fractionalized ownership of something. The same way people do NFTs, there's just a big money grab scam and they don't do anything they say they're going to do. Like it just perpetuates in different industries in similar ways because scammers are always the same. There's market volatility, which is a big thing here in real estate, because we've been talking about this. Number one thing I was concerned, or realtors that I talked to over my time in crypto would have about these kinds of transactions and stuff, was they'd say, well, how do I know the Bitcoin's not going to go from $17,000 down to $2,000 during my transaction? Well, you don't actually. It could, I suppose. I mean, there's nothing to stop it if everybody sold at the same time. But liquidity is the global thing that everybody is after. We're all after liquidity because liquidity makes prices stable and allows those transactions to go through without the worry that it's going to drop 10% in 5 minutes. And it is a much bigger concern with Bitcoin than it is with many other chains because of the slowness of the Bitcoin transactions. I assume you would definitely have to use a Lightning Network for a real estate transaction on Bitcoin, I would think. But I don't know. I mean, unless it's just unless it's somebody you know and it's like, oh, I'm buying this house for you, that's this much, or, oh, it's going to be what it's going to be. Like, you understand. But if it's a crypto person, non-crypto person, you got to have those protections in. Same way that Gary Gensler had to come in and act like a bad guy. He's really my buddy. Act like a bad guy in order to get all the regulation through to make the institutions comfortable enough to be able to degen the way they're degenning with the XRPL and beyond. And then, of course, there is regulatory uncertainty. We do have still, real estate. Look, at some point, we're going to have another big crunch on regulation in crypto. It's not right now. Right now, everything's bullish. Yay! Prices drop. Remember, prices drop. Attitudes change. This will be another time. We will probably see the NFT market and the meme coin market gone after. That's probably what's coming next. Whenever we have another big crunch, maybe years down the road, but that's what will be next. And you will see more attempts just for the big people to just weed out the people that are doing the bad stuff. Not the institutions aren't doing bad stuff, but the things that give crypto a bad name. Some of the meme coin trading stuff, they don't like it, but it is necessary. Meme coin trading will always be around. It will always be a niche of crypto where people can turn a little into a lot. Okay. For the long term, when it comes to real estate and commodities, real estate is going to offer longer term protection to people. Commodities are great for hedging and short term moves. So that's why you might want some of those tokenized. But guys, the exciting potential of tokenized real estate and commodities offers a lot to offer, has a lot to offer when it comes to the future of blockchain and the future of your industry if you're in real estate. Same thing we've been talking about with AI. Be an innovator. Don't be the guy that's sitting there saying it's not going to happen. It's going to happen. I don't care what job. And I'm telling you, even your pastors and your people who change diapers, eventually, there will be things that can do that too. And people will feel just as comfortable with. Same way people didn't feel comfortable shopping online back in 1995, right? It'll never happen. Look today. Now today people say what? We'll never use AI. We'll never do this. We'll never be blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but in 25 years, people will. That's how this march towards inevitability works. So you got to do something to stop the inevitability. We're going to try it. Okay. The next lesson we get is going to be regulation and legal frameworks with RWAs. And I tell you, there is nothing that gets people more excited in the Bid Squad than a little framework, Snap, snap. Let's go. Those are headshots. Those are not frames. Okay. All right, guys. Look, it is time for some people's favorite part of the show. This is called Final Take. This is where I say goodbye to my audience. But I do it in a dramatic way. And I try to bring up something from the show that will connect with you on a deeper level. And today, I want to do that. You learned a lot from the show today. So many things you learned. You learned about Mark Zuckerberg and AI and how this is a big, important thing. You need to be paying attention. You learned about RWAs and tokenization and commodities and RWAs and real world assets in our Drill Bit segment. You learned today about a crypto project called Proppy. And I don't know. Then we kind of connected it to Proppy Bets later on in the show. None of that matters. There's one final take that you have that I'm going to give you from the show. And it's hard for me to say because it's one of the things that I hate saying more than anything else. And that was, BitBoy was right again. XRP ETF, let's go.